Hello, welcome. This is Chris for Vienna Care. Today I'm going to be going over a new product, which is Re N Tox, or as some people have been calling it, Re N Tox. So let's jump into it. When you first open your package, most botulinum toxins come in a little package such as this, and you will notice that in this jar, there's just a small amount of white powder circling right around the bottom, and that's because this is a freeze-dried botulinum toxin, and you actually have to reconstitute it to activate it to make it into the solution that you'll want to be injecting. And then you will have a saline solution. Now, I'm not going to be using an insulin needle today. I have a different needle that I have tons of that I actually love and prefer, and that's my Unitox syringe, so that's what I'm going to be using today. It just makes everything easier because it was designed for use with Botox, so there's no converting measurements, and the numbers are clearly lined, so it just makes everything simple for me, and what works for me is what I do. Now, to reconstitute these together, I will be using a syringe to withdraw the bacteriostatic saline or regular saline solution and administering it into my vial. So I will go ahead and I'll show you how I do that. The syringe that I'm using is actually a 1/2 ml syringe, which looks like so, and everything is lined and numbered. Now, to reconstitute my Re N Tox, I will need approximately 2.5 mils, which means I will be taking my 1/2 ml syringe and filling it up with my saline 5 times. So aside from our toxin, our saline, our syringes, we also need to have alcohol pads and gloves for sanitation. Now, what I always like to do, I like to open my bottles like so. This flips right off, like so. And just for extra sanitation purposes, I will just be wiping these tops down just to make sure there's no bacteria or anything on the surface. So I use my alcohol wipe. This is just a 70% isopropyl alcohol. I just wipe the top just like so, and I wipe the top just like so. Once that is clean and disinfected, I'm just gonna go ahead and use another alcohol wipe, and I'm just gonna wipe down my forehead because today we are doing my full face. We are gonna be treating my frontalis muscle, which is gonna be the muscle responsible for creating these wrinkles and lines that are up through here. I'll be treating the glabellar complex, which is responsible for all the muscles that cause your frowning, that create your 11s. And I will also be treating my crow's feet area. Now that that is cleansed and ready to go, I'm just gonna take my syringe, prime my needle, and I'm just gonna have a little bit of air in my syringe, and I'm going to insert that into my saline solution. And all that does is just allows for easier withdrawing. So again, a full syringe of this saline is only 1/2 ml. And I need to put 2.5 mils of saline into my Re N Tox to make sure it's diluted. Now, once I have my full syringe, I'm going to take my Re N Tox and I'm going to inject it right in. And I'm going to do this slowly. I'm not going to plunge the plunger all the way down. And then I'm just going to swirl that around a little bit. So this is number 2. So this is number 3. This is number 4. One more to go. And this is number 5. So since I've already been using this syringe, I don't want to use a dull one, so I'm just going to sit that one to the side. And this is what the vial would look like after you've reconstituted it, and you have your 2.5 mils in there. So it's not going to be full, so this is where it should be. This is the appropriate amount of product. So I'm just going to swirl this around. You don't have to shake it. You definitely don't need to be shaking it. A little swirl. And this is our 100 unit vial. Now I have 3 syringes here. Typically, I'll end up using about 50 units, and my syringes will hold about 20 units. So between 3 of them, I'm just gonna fill up about 50 units, and if I need more, I can just get more. So 1 20-unit syringe, second 20-unit syringe, and then I have my 10-unit syringe. So all in all, I have 20, 40, 50 units. So I'm gonna set my 10 unit aside just so I know that's the least one. And then once that vial has been half used, this is the amount of product you should see left. And since I will be storing this for the next week or so, I'll just kind of sit it on there. I'll put this back in the container it came in. I will put this back in the box, like so. And then I will store this in my fridge. I'm not gonna keep it in the door part. I am gonna keep it in the fridge, but on the shelf. Just because when you're keeping things in the door compartments, they don't usually stay as cold. So you're gonna want to keep this in the fridge on a shelf. And then the same goes for my bacteriostatic saline or regular saline or whatever you are reconstituting with. Now, once that's all said and done, I am ready to do my treatment. So I'm not gonna be marking out my face because I just don't see the point in that. But the muscles that are responsible for your glabellar complex are not your frontalis, that's gonna be a whole separate thing, but it's gonna be your corrugator muscles, and your corrugator muscles through here are responsible for what's causing your 11s. So I'm gonna be treating that as well as my procerus. So I make sure I have no bubbles in my syringe. Perfect. Now when I'm usually getting my treatments, I'm usually getting through here and here, somewhere around 25 units, maybe more. So what I'm gonna end up doing is my procerus, I'm actually gonna do about 6 units in my procerus muscle, and this is gonna be a superficial injection. This does not need to be something super deep. So I'm just gonna grab that muscle, and you can kind of see where it is. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna lightly put this in. So as you can see, I have put 6 units where it needs to be. Now, once that is done, you'll see that there is a raised lump. That is perfectly normal. That's how it should be. Essentially, your skin's gonna slowly absorb that, or your muscle, I should say, will slowly absorb that, and then the lumps will usually go away in about 20 to 30 minutes. So now I'm going to be doing my corrugator muscle since I've already treated the procerus, and I'm gonna do 6 units for each of those, and you can see the outline of where the muscles are. So I'm just gonna be treating that. So I'm gonna put 6 more units in there, which is gonna be up to the 12 mark on my syringe. And your corrugator muscle is a deeper injection, it's not superficial. So I'm gonna grab that muscle, and I typically don't want to inject away because I don't want my product to migrate farther than where it needs to go. So ideally, I'm gonna wanna be pointing my needle down to the procerus, so that way I don't have too much migration of product. And as you can see, I've treated the head of that muscle with my 6 units. So I have 6, 12, 18 units, and then I'm gonna do 5 units here and 5 units here. Now, just as a general rule of thumb, I never go past the end point of my pupil, because this ends up being a danger zone for some people. You could potentially have a brow ptosis, which means you'll end up dropping your brow too much because you don't want that. So we're not gonna treat anything past our pupil area. And I'm just gonna go here. And again, this is a deeper injection because it's the corrugator muscle. And you can kind of see where the tail stops. You can kind of see that. So you're not gonna wanna go past the tail of that muscle. Now we're at the 10 mark, so we've put the other 5 units. So we've treated here, here, and here. So now we've got 10 more units left in here, and essentially I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle that across my forehead. When I treat my crow's feet, I tend to do about 2 to 3 units on each. Before I treat my frontalis, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna treat my crow's feet first, and then whatever's left, I will sprinkle throughout the rest of my forehead. Now, as a general rule, where my orbital bone is, I'm gonna be about 1 centimeter away from that. I'm not gonna be going into that. And this is also a superficial injection, so it doesn't need to be too deep. All right, so 10 units I use to treat the crow's feet and just a tiny little bit of my under eye area, so when I smile, this will be a little bit more relaxed. So I'm gonna take 10 more units and I'm gonna do the same thing on each side. So 10 units, 10 units. So altogether we've done 50 units and I haven't done my forehead, so I'll probably do another 15 unit syringe. So in total for my treatment, I will have about 65 units. So let's go through and we are gonna sprinkle some through our forehead. And I'm gonna do about 2 units in each little blip or each little injection. And essentially I'm gonna stay about 1 finger width above my brow because this whole area here is a no zone. So essentially this is about 2 centimeters up because I don't want to lower my brows too much. Naturally men have a lower set brow, so anytime you treat that frontalis, it holds your eyebrows up, so essentially they are gonna go down. Now you will see, for me, I have a stronger side. So this is my left side and I'm always higher. So I will be treating this side a little bit differently than this side. And these are very superficial injections. You don't need to be deep. You're almost gonna be going almost parallel into the skin. Now I am gonna do 1 unit right here just above my brow bone, so that way it just drops this just a touch. So as you can see, the lumps already are basically almost gone, and these will be gone within the next 20 to 30 minutes. I'm gonna be doing some check-ins with you guys so you can see how the treatment is coming along. That being said, it's gonna take about 7 to 14 days before you start to notice the results of your botulinum toxin. Some people can notice the onset in as little as 3 days, but you're not gonna wanna touch up or retreat the area for at least 2 weeks because it will take up to 2 weeks for maximum effects. In the meantime, today, you should have about 4 hours of not going down, lying down, going to sleep, bending over, working out, anything like that. Because when you're laying down, that's gonna give the product an opportunity to migrate, and you don't want it to do that. You want it to stay put where it is. So No sleeping for 4 hours, laying down, or doing any kind of strenuous activity like running, jogging, working out. You're gonna wanna refrain from that for the next 4 hours. And then over the course of your treatment, until the results take effect, you're gonna wanna stay away from things like microneedling, radio frequency. Those treatments can cause the product to actually shift. You're not gonna wanna do those until your treatment is in full effect. So no microcurrent as well. So just steer clear of any other kind of skin treatments for the next 7 to 10, maybe even 14 days until your treatment is kicked in. After that, you're free to do as you wish. So I'm gonna do a check-in in about 5 days, possibly, or I'll just wait till I start noticing an effect. I'm hopeful that it will take effect much quicker than Botox. Some people that I've seen online, they said that this actually takes result very quickly. So we will see. So I'll do some check-ins with you guys. So just stay tuned and follow up, and I'll be back to check in with you guys in just a few days. We are back with a 6-day check-in with the Re N Tox, or Re N Tox, as many people are referring to the product by. So there was no pain or discomfort with the administering of this product. I started to take notice of the effects within about 3 days. I could start to feel some tightening and less movement in the areas that I had treated. So right on my crow's feet area and under my eye area, as you can see, this is me smiling big. This has completely taken away what little bit of movement I was starting to show where I had there. There's less wrinkling under my eye area than I would normally have, which is gonna give me a wider eye appearance. For the glabellar complex, you will see this is me trying to squeeze as hard as I can. So I treated that area really well, and it's only 6 days out, so it will only get better. Now, raising my brows. And you can see that all those lines have softened. We know that I treated this area, so this is still going to soften, which is why it's important to wait the full 5 to 14 days after treatment before you administer more, because the potential could be that this tail end could be slower at having that paralysis, and if you over-treat this area, you will essentially have a ptosis or have too much undesirable brow drooping. So I'm very happy with the results at 6 days out. You have no complaints from me. But yeah, that's what I wanted to jump on here and do that 6-day check-in so you guys can see what's going on 6 days out from the treatment. So highly recommend trying this product. It's so far, to me, very amazing. And I can't wait to see the continued results over the course of the next couple weeks. That's all I got for you guys today. So thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to Vienna Care's channel, and you can head on over to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Christopher McGrady, and go ahead and like and subscribe to that as well. And as always, if you want to see my content, Vienna Care's content, go ahead and hit that notification bell, and that will alert you to any time any of us are posting new and exciting content. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay well, be you, and be beautiful. I'll see you next time. Bye.